What it means is that a person is considered to be multidimensionally poor if he or she is deprived in at least 1/3 of the weighted indicators. So you pick your pen, we do this with you. 1/3 of the weighted indicators. So someone will ask, what is the weighted indicator?
What are the indicators, especially?
Yes. Now, Dave, the multidimensional poverty framework was proposed or propounded by what we call the Oxford Poverty and Human Initiative at the University of Oxford, where they look at 10 indicators and 3 dimensions of poverty. So let's pick it systematically.
Okay.
They are looking at 3 dimensions where you can measure poverty, and they are looking at 10 indicators that they use to measure the poverty. Dave, do you understand? Okay. So the 3 dimensions propounded by the Oxford guys, university guys. The first dimension is health.
Okay.
The second is education. Then the third is living standard. So this is the framework for the globe, the entire world. But countries are allowed to make changes to it based on their unique demography. Because Ghana doesn't have the same demography as, for example, the UK. They don't record malaria, we record malaria. They don't have school attendance issues and all that. We have it here. So this is the framework: health, education, and living standards.
Okay.
Now, under these 3 dimensions, they have 10 indicators. The indicators, health has 2. So they use nutrition and child mortality. So based on their thinking, this is the 2 dimensions they will use to check whether someone is poor or not. Nutrition and child mortality. When it comes to education,
so when you talk about nutrition, you're talking about how well the child is fed,
eating,
and then when it comes to mortality, at what age they die.
Yes, mortality and all that, child, maternal mortality, and let's have a certain linkages with the MDGs and the SDGs. Now, when it comes to education, based on the Oxford propounded theory, they also use year of schooling and also school attendance.
So year of schooling is the age a child goes to school, or start school,
and how long they stay in school. Attainments can also be gleaned there. Then attendance.
Yeah.
The person may be registered in school, but does he go?
How frequent does the person go to school?
How frequent does he go? That's why Ghana, together with the World Bank, learned from India and did the school feeding program, which was a means to retain people in school. Now, the living standard is where the Nkomo is.
But that's where my interest really is, trust me.
So the health is 2, education is 2. I've told you about 10 indicators, meaning 6 are remaining. So under the living standard, there are 6 measurable, the Oxford framework propounded. Cooking fuels. Okay. What are you using to cook? Is it firewood? Is it gas and all that? Then we have sanitation. Then we have drinking water. Then we have electricity. We have housing, and we have assets. And here the assets comprise of bicycles, radio, TV, and all that. Now, when it comes to Ghana, Ghana decided to tweak this to fit our unique dimensions. So though the Oxford people propounded 3 dimensions and 10 indicators to measure these dimensions, we decided to use 4 dimensions and 13 indicators based on Ghana's unique demography. So what are these 4 dimensions? These 4 dimensions are, they said living conditions. We are saying they said living standards. We use living conditions. 1, health, education. Then we added on to a 4th one, employment. Okay. Now, when you go to the living conditions,
so the graph is on Facebook right now.
No, not this one.
Not this one. Okay, so for our listeners to enjoy the conversation and benefit from it, so you can also share the information with friends and family, or even discuss it whilst you're at work and you have some time. Join us on Facebook on Love in the Morning. Join us on Facebook on Love in the Morning so that you can follow the conversation better. All right, that's how you can find us on Facebook. But again, when you join us on Facebook, drop comments, ask questions, and get to appreciate the conversation, better. So that's what we're doing for you and with you this morning. Yeah. So,
yeah, Dave. So, so the 4, we have living conditions, health, education, and employment. Now, under them are the indicators you will use to measure these 4 dimensions.
How many indicators? 10?
No, 13.
13.
Though also propounded 10.
Okay.
3 dimensions. We are using 4 dimensions and 13 indicators. Say the how does. So it's normal. So the 4 indicators are the living conditions, health, education, and employment. Okay. Now, when you go to living conditions, the indicators, the Ghana Statistical Service, and that's what's on our Facebook, used to measure whether someone's living condition is proper are 1, cooking fuels, drinking water, assets, housing, overcrowding, electricity, and toilet facility. Okay. So out of the 13 indicators, 7 of them falls under living conditions. Let's go to health. Health, the Ghana Statistical Service are using mortality and national health insurance coverage. because they believe that when you have the national health insurance, it gives you access to basic health care. Then under education, they use 3 indicators: school attendance, school attainment, and school lag. Then under employment, there's only 1 indicator, which is persons 15 years and older in household, whether they are employed or not. So out of the 13 indicators, 7 are under living conditions, 2 under health, 3 under education, and 1 under employment, making 13 indicators. Now, Dave, let me explain a bit of this. The electricity, they want to see whether you have access to electricity, because electricity is also the lifeline of economy. When you have electricity, you can do some basic things. Yeah. Access, they want to look at whether you have a radio, whether you have a TV, whether you have a car, whether you have a bicycle, and all that. Then they also need to access your drinking water. How well are you getting access to potable drinking water? Then the housing. Is it at Takwame Dine? Is it in Taboda? Is it made of wood? Is it made of basic structures or what? Do you even have a roofing ahead of you, over your head and all that? The cooking fuels. Whether you are engaging in deforestation to cook charcoal
or firewood or gas, yeah.
Then the health, they are looking at mortality. Have you suffered the death of a child? What were the conditions of it? Then the national health insurance coverage. Then education, they look at school attendance, they look at school attainment and school lag. Do you have school in your place? Maybe someone finished JHS. The whole community have a JHS. They have to travel to go to an SHS. Is there money in school? Is that why you are not going and all that? Then finally, they look at employment. Now, Dave, the reason why I don't know whether I should give you a national outlook and come to Ashanti region.
So before we do the national outlook, for the benefit of our listeners to appreciate why this was done, what was the essence for this research work?
So they want to look at the significance of doing such a survey. They basically, for me, it's just to do better targeting for social intervention programs, allocation of resources, assess and evaluate developmental programs, baseline for tracking non-monetary poverty, and monitor progress across a range of interlinked SDGs and all that.
And of course, if you look at the timing of this report that has been made available, it is in an election year.
Yes.
And as we speak, we have about 6 months to an election.
Yes.
Now, these political parties will be drawing manifestos.
Yes.
And we're planning policies that they think would help the people of Ghana.
Note his name down. He has qualified for lunch today.
Oh, you're serious. So if the politicians
are listening to the data,
these are the things they need to focus attention on. Not necessarily go sit in some room somewhere and not make one drill boom. Then they come and tell us what they think we need
and things that do not correlate with the ground.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Things that they think we need. These are the things based on research that we need, and these are the policies they need to focus attention on. Roll them out. Give us assurances of. Tell us the roadmap as to how to attain it to make the lives of Ghanaians and the people of Kumasi.
And then, you see, if the RCCs listen, they should call on the regional minister to also listen. Because today is Mungamu. Dave, the Ashanti region where we are going is not good for us. Now, Dave, the Ghana Statistical Service introduces a term, incidence of poverty. Ghana has a 24.3% incidence of poverty. And there's also intensity of poverty. Now, Dave, if we tell you that, almost Ghana's, this was based on the 2021 housing and population census. So if I quote our population then, it's not because I'm mistaken. So when you take our population of 30.8 million and they say incidence of poverty 24.3, 2 out of 10. That's a US grammar for. So it's okay. But that is the national outlook, and that is why I talk about makeup. This is a makeup number. So when you pick it on the national scale, 2 out of 10 people being multidimensionally poor, meaning that they are poor in 1/3 of the 13 indicators. It's seemingly not bad like that.
And again, I would encourage listeners to join us on Facebook, because we have the graphs, we have the figures, we have all the images to share with you, so you appreciate the conversation we're having.
Yeah. When
we zoom into the Ashanti region, you then get to appreciate it more.
Yeah.
And then when we say some of the things we say on radio, then maybe you side with us and say, listen, we need to say it more to bring the kind of development that Ashanti region needs.
Yes. Dave, now, incidence of poverty means that the percentage of people who are multidimensionally poor. So when you pick the 13 indicators, they are poor in 1/3. So the 24.3% representing a population of 30.8 million is those who are multidimensionally poor. Now the intensity of poverty is that within the poor people, how poor are they?
How poor are the poor?
How poor are the poor?
Yeah, how poor are the poor?
So that is the intensity of poverty. Leo, do you understand? Incidence of poverty is how many of the population are poor. Then the intensity of poverty is that within that poor population, How poor are the poor?
Like the saying goes,
yes.
If they hear for the BDDBH.
Now,
same as when they say middle class, and then you go,
yeah,
and there's no middle class.
Yeah, there's no middle class. Now, Dave, this is how they do the calculation. When it comes to the national outlook, as I've told you, 2021 our population was 30,832,019. Now, household mean David's family and all that, because they are institutional numbers, they don't count. So the household population is 30,075,379. The difference between them is that it's institutional numbers are not added. The prisons, those who are at the hospital and all that. So that's why there's a difference of about 800,000. Now, Dave, let's go through the numbers. When you go through the numbers, when they did the survey, the highest deprivation, and Joe, give me the chart, the highest deprivation they recorded was in toilet facilities. 78.8 didn't have toilet facilities. Yes, 78.8 didn't have toilet facilities.
Is it national or Ashanti?
No, that's the national outlook.
Okay.
I'm just giving you
an
overview of the national outlook. Then I'll come to Ashanti.
Okay.
78.8 didn't have toilet facilities. Now, Dave, the next one, when you look at the chart, Joel will be sharing with you soon. The next one out of it is health insurance, 52.2, meaning that, Dave, the way we are touting the health insurance and all that, almost half of our population are not on the national health insurance.
And I think that because the health insurance operators themselves, managers themselves know this, they sometimes go to churches.
Yeah.
They sometimes fall on some philanthropists to help register people to get on board the health insurance.
Yeah. So, Dave, health insurance is there. Then you come housing. 36% are deprived when it comes to proper housing. Overcrowding, 34.9%. Cooking fuel, 29.1%. They are drinking water, 19.3%. Now they look at the school lag. So meaning that there's an issue for education. Why are people not going to school? It means that schools are not closer to them, or the schools do not have, JHS or SHS facilities and all that. So there's an issue. So this is where the manifestos that the parties are bringing should be couched from. People don't have toilet facilities.
But we live in a country, especially a region, Ashanti region, where landlords are quick to change kitchen and toilet facilities to rooms, single rooms, and rent it out. So what do you expect to happen? We will pay the bylaws of Ghana, and of course, let's say the KMA, for example, or the assemblies. Every household is supposed to have a toilet facility. And yet we're being told that in many homes, they don't have toilet facilities. What do you expect of them? So how much is the name Kana? Or Nanten called public Tiana? Or maybe Robert Bino de Gum.
Yeah, Dave, so Dave, it tells you that toilet intervention we are doing, the wash initiative they do, Abraham Kwame and you has to do one of those pickups that they bring one toilet. We need to accelerate it. Now, Dave, let's go to the next picture, where we are looking at the regional incidence. The national incidence is 24.3. Oh, and you're bad, sir. But when you break it down to the 16 regions, that is where you see the makeup I was talking about.